And welcome to my midterm debriefing. My name is EFlores, and I'm just going to be talking a little bit about my course so far. Here I'm on the home screen, the homepage of my course sites. On the left hand side, I have my syllabus and, of course, any announcements that I have. I also have here access to all the lessons and a discussion board. In my discussion board, I have a little area where whoever's taking this course can ask any questions, and I did my best to have them subscribe so that way if there are any updates, they get emailed those updates. As far as my lessons, I have a total of 4 lessons here. I'm going to first talk about lesson 1, which is device enrollment. But before I start, let me just kind of give you an overview of what it is that I did want to accomplish with this lesson or this course. My main goal is to get the teachers on my campus to be more comfortable with using iPad devices in school and also using Google Apps for education. So that's pretty much in a nutshell the purpose of my course. The first 2 lessons focus on iOS 8, and so that's lesson 1 and 2, and lesson 3 and 4 focus on the Google Apps for education. As far as the first lesson, which is device enrollment, I start off by welcoming them to the course and just kind of showing a friendly picture here. I went ahead and changed the objective. I went ahead and put the objective here for them to see, so that way they know more or less what it is that they're going to be getting out of this lesson. I have the lesson objective, and I have some of the tasks that they're going to be doing, that the teachers will be doing as they go through this lesson. I tried to kind of make it very, very simple to where it would be very easy to follow. I included these arrows to kind of more or less guide the teachers down the page. I try to put everything centered so that it was very easy, and all they had to do was just simply just scroll down and either watch the next video or read the next step or interact with the next object. I also included a quick little intro on Powtoons to each lesson. So if they click on the device enrollment, which is this right here, if they click on this picture, because I tried embedding the actual Powtoon, but it would not embed. So what I had to do is I had to just put the picture of the Powtoon here. So if they tap on this, it takes them to a quick little introduction on that lesson. It just kind of gives them a little overview of what they're going to be doing and a little. So this is the Powtoon introduction. It's not a video. I went ahead and created just the slides. I felt that a video wasn't necessary. It's very simple to use. All the teachers have to do is just click on the arrow to move on to the next slide. It's not, the only thing is not read to them. They kind of have to read it on their own. And it's just simple questions that they might have, that they might have thought about, and it's something that's very, very quick and simple, just to kind of switch up from just reading and reading and reading, just a little bit different, just to try to get them engaged a little bit. So I did my best to try to include frequent causes of the necessary enrollment. I also included the reason why the devices must be enrolled, which is, district McKenzie policy. So they're able to watch just that short introduction video, and as soon as they finish, they continue with the tutorial. What I did the first time is well, let me explain that for each lesson, the lesson consists of a video tutorial. It also consists of a downloadable PDF file with every step, with all directions to to enroll the iPad. And what I did here on the first lesson, and after I had a few teachers actually go through the lesson and try to enroll some devices, most of the feedback that I received was to kind of, I guess, condense the page. That there was as you see here, most of the images, go through every single step. And what the teachers did like is that at the very end, they're able to access the entire file, I guess, the entire set of tutorial instructions as a PDF. So every step that's here in course sites, they're able to, at the end of the lesson, download so that they can have access to it later if they need to. But what I also try to do is include little breaks, little mental breaks, because at times it is kind of frustrating. And I try to include just little breaks here between the directions, and at the end, here's some just inspiration, kind of relief. And this is where they can download the instructions. The video tutorials are at the very end. I did receive some feedback stating that some of the teachers would have liked the video tutorials at the very beginning and then the steps at the end. So I need to go back and try to figure out a way to maybe include both, or have maybe not all of the steps on the actual page, and maybe just offer the PDF file and the videos instead of having the entire thing on the actual page. So that way it's less for them to scroll through and get to the videos all the way at the end. I also created a little review game for their quiz, because they do have a quiz at the end of the lesson, and it's just a very simple little Zondo game. And what it does, it reviews some of the things that were covered during the lesson. And if they're able to answer these questions, they can play a little game. And it's just a different way to review, so that they don't have to go all the way back and look for all the answers. It's most of the questions, if they were able to follow the tutorial, they should be able to understand and to answer. Lesson 2, speech accessibility. What I did with this one is I did something similar to what a few of the teachers suggested. With this one, I narrowed down the content. I simplified the content. So again, here I have welcome back, and then I also have the lesson objective here. I also, because I put the lesson objective here, I try to make it teacher friendly so that they can actually understand what it is that they're doing. I have another Powtoon here, and if they click on it, it's going to take them to the speech accessibility Powtoon, and it's very, very similar to the previous one on device enrollment, just a little bit longer, because it does. But for lesson 2, what I did is I narrowed it down, so I reduced the amount of content on the page to kind of see how it worked, if it worked a little bit better than I guess, lesson one, I decided to keep only the introduction Powtoon slide. I also only kept the videos and the downloadable tutorial. And so there's less on the page. So it's less overwhelming. And again, I have a Zondo review game here so that they can review before taking the quiz. One of the things that I have noticed is I began to build the course over this semester was keeping in line with the dates that I had set was something that at first seemed plausible, but as I went on, it got more and more difficult keeping up with the timeline. I think that the time frame of this entire course does allow for the creation of your own course, but I think that official to have maybe a group working on one course, I think that that would have been um, something that could be more easily accomplished, because then I'd be able to focus all of my time on just one lesson and making sure that that lesson was the best instead of trying to come up or instead of trying to complete four lessons at in the short amount of time that I have for this course. But so far the course is about 60% complete. I still need to add lesson 3 and lesson 4 content. But as far as lesson 1 and lesson 2, those are complete. Uh, I recently completed lesson 2 and I began lesson 3. I've already put the objectives for both lesson 3 and 4. One of the, I guess, main lessons that I have learned is when when you create your timeline, it's extremely important that you give yourself enough time to actually go back and make changes, because one of the things that I didn't do was give myself enough time to, I guess I didn't give myself enough wiggle room to actually make changes to each lesson or each module. And my timeline was set for to complete each lesson within a week, and I think that was a little bit over ambitious. And I think that if I were to go back and do it again, I would probably maybe increase the time from 1 week to maybe 2 weeks, per lesson, to give myself enough time to, I guess, do a little bit more research and figure out what it is that the entire website does consist of. Because uh, one of the things that I did, one of the challenges that I did encounter was the actual website course sites. It doesn't really lend itself as much as I would like it to a very difficult time trying to embed any of the tools that I've used before. And I think that if I had to create another course, I would probably just create it on a different platform and not use Blackboard course sites. At this point, the end product looks like it will be completed. I still need to continue working on lesson 3 and 4 and upload more of the content. If I had to give any advice, it would be to just make sure to kind of stick to your timeline and focus on one thing, finishing one part at a time. And it's easy to get kind of caught up with doing one thing here and then another thing here, and in the end not finishing anything because you've been working on the entire thing instead of taking it piece by piece. What I really hope to accomplish by the submission due date is the completion of this course, of this entire entire module, and I actually want teachers to be able to go through these lessons at least, if not all of them, at least the first two lessons, because I feel that they they could really benefit from just learning something as simple as enabling speech on their iPads, and having access to the internet for those students that don't have access. I think that it's something that's easily solved, but some of the teachers aren't really as comfortable as other teachers are with using the iPad devices in their classroom. But if they can see at least a little bit, you know, if they can at least see what they can do with it, then maybe that'll motivate them to continue and build their confidence in using the iPad devices.